Let me tell you something. Olympics is all game banger. You see them big volleyball, Brazilian volleyball players, they looking and you looking, everybody looking.
Woo! Dangerous.
Don't nobody know how to speak no language, but you feel me?
Everybody
feel the
Energy
energy.
speaks. Energy speaks, man.
Feel the energy. That's how NBA player described the Olympic Village. Because while the Olympics are supposed to be about gold medals, national pride, and world records, athletes say there's an entirely different competition happening behind the scenes. According to players who've experienced it firsthand, the village becomes a non-stop collision of celebrities, elite athletes, parties, cultures, and temptation from every corner of the world, all packed into one place. Basketball stars, sprinters, swimmers, gymnasts, and global icons all living together creates an atmosphere so wild that many athletes say the real challenge isn't winning medals, it's staying focused long enough to compete. For NBA players especially, the Olympic Village has become legendary not just for basketball, but for the chaos, energy, and unforgettable stories that happen once the cameras stop rolling.
Olympics is all game banger.
When Kevin Garnett arrived at the 2000 Summer Olympics, he thought the experience would be all about basketball and chasing a gold medal for Team USA. Instead, he stepped into what many athletes describe as the wildest atmosphere in sports. The Olympic Village wasn't just competition. It was thousands of elite athletes from around the world living together under one roof, creating non-stop energy, chaos, and temptation every single night. NBA stars suddenly found themselves surrounded by global celebrities, world champions, and athletes from every sport imaginable, all sharing the same space. For Garnett, Sydney became the moment he realized the Olympics were bigger than basketball. It was an environment unlike anything professional sports could prepare you for, where the hardest part sometimes wasn't winning games. It was staying focused inside the madness of the village itself.
Part about the Olympics, y'all. The day one when you get there, they got a place that only the athletes can go. So you come in the village, me, Ray Allen, Jason Kidd, and Dice walk through the village on the first day. We go to the game room. This game room is probably about 10,000 square feet. It's got games, it's got everything you can do in here. Everybody is in the middle hitting the table. Every athlete that's in the Olympics is in this room hitting.
Picture the scene Kevin Garnett walked into at the 2000 Summer Olympics. The fastest sprinters on the planet, swimmers who train their entire life for a single race, gymnasts, wrestlers, volleyball stars, world champions from every corner of the globe, all packed into the same Olympic Village together. For Garnett, it felt less like a normal sporting event and more like the entire world's greatest athletes had been dropped into one giant non-stop energy storm. Everywhere he looked there were legends, celebrities, and competitors carrying different cultures, personalities, and levels of intensity, and Kilogram was absorbing every second of it. The Olympics suddenly became bigger than basketball. It was an atmosphere unlike anything the NBA could replicate, where just walking to the village felt like stepping into another universe.
It's dorms. It look like apartments, look like townhomes, but everybody got a Brazilian flag. You look over here, it's a Swedish flag. And this, you see niggas in Speedos, the girls walk, like it's about 1,000 people just walking around, walking with a Dominican flag. It's this. We're going here, everybody hitting the tail.
Then Kevin Garnett noticed this tiny guy moving through the crowd, almost impossible to see because he was carrying a massive trash can that looked bigger than he was. At first, Kilogram didn't think much of it. In a place packed with thousands of athletes, staff, and workers, it just looked like another random moment inside the Olympic Village. But then someone pointed out who it actually was, and Garnett couldn't believe it. Even surrounded by giants, superstars, and world-famous athletes, the Olympics had this strange energy where legends from completely different sports blended together in ways that made every hallway feel surreal.
Oh, dude, you can't even see him. He got a trash can. He walking. Finally, he get to this big old bowl on the table. You don't even know this is a bowl. The man dumps about 10,000 condoms in the middle of the thing. and then as he gets out of the way, you can't even see him no more because after about 30 seconds, it's not a condom in the
Gone. 30 seconds. 10,000 condoms gone. That's how wild athletes say the Olympic Village atmosphere really was. And it wasn't exaggeration either. The numbers backed it up. During the 2000 Summer Olympics, organizers started with 70,000 condoms but ran out midway through the games and had to rush in 20,000 more. By the time the 2016 Summer Olympics arrived, officials distributed nearly 450,000 condoms, averaging more than 40 per athlete. The Olympic Village had developed a legendary reputation as the ultimate collision of elite athletes, nonstop energy, and temptation from around the world. But according to Kevin Garnett and several NBA players, Team USA basketball barely experienced most of that chaos because their schedule, security, and pressure were completely different. While the rest of the village was partying and socializing, the basketball players were locked into practices, meetings, and the expectation that anything less than a gold medal would be considered failure.
It cracked so hard, security got us out of there. It's like, no, you got to get y'all out of here. And they don't let NBA players in the village because it's so influential.
So influential.
It's so influential.
Shout out to the village.
Somebody getting fucked tonight.
I don't know, they got us out of there so fast. I'm talking about NBA security. You remember Horace? Y'all remember Horace? Y'all remember Horace security? He was like, oh, no, we got to get y'all out of here. Oh.
That's the part most fans never realize. Since the arrival of the Dream Team in 1992, NBA superstars have barely experienced the Olympic Village the way other athletes do. Charles Barkley explained why years later, and it sounded less like a basketball tournament and more like a presidential security operation. Every time Team USA traveled to practice or games, they had armed motorcycle escorts, police convoys in front and behind the bus, machine guns visible on security detail, and even helicopters flying overhead. The global attention surrounding NBA stars, especially after the Dream Team transformed basketball into an international phenomenon, made normal Olympic life impossible. So while swimmers, gymnasts, sprinters, wrestlers, and volleyball players lived together inside the village experiencing the non-stop chaos and social energy, Team USA basketball players were isolated nearly 90 minutes away under constant protection. The rest of the Olympic world got the full village experience Kevin Garnett described. The NBA stars got something completely different. Pressure, security, and the expectation that anything less than gold will be viewed as failure.
Always have the players and all of us like 90 minutes away with the ladies and all that, and then they have the Olympic Village. But
even separated from the Olympic Village chaos, United States men's Olympic basketball team still found ways to make the games unforgettable. Before the 2000 Summer Olympics even tipped off, the NBA stars reportedly created a ridiculous challenge among themselves, a $1 million bounty for the first player to dunk on Yao Ming. At the time, Yao was still an international mystery to many American players, an enormous 7'6" phenomenon dominating overseas basketball before eventually becoming an NBA superstar. The challenge became part joke, part competition, part locker room obsession for a roster full of elite athletes constantly trying to outdo one another. And it perfectly captured the energy surrounding Team USA during that era. Even while traveling under heavy security, isolated from the Olympic Village, and carrying the pressure of winning gold, NBA players still turned everything into competition. Even who could become the first guy crazy enough to attack a giant like Yao Ming at the rim.
Shit it though.
we had a bounty out on Yao Ming. First cat to dunk on Yao Ming, $1 million. So everybody's trying.
$1 million?
Man, we all said first cat. We all put our hand in. Listen, I think it was Dice, myself. It was like 6 other people that had the, you know what I'm saying? Like, we catch him, it's $1 million. Cool. So we was like, cool.
Nobody ever collected the bounty because Yao Ming was blocking everything in sight. But then came the moment that changed Olympic basketball history forever. When Vince Carter exploded over 7'2" French center Frédéric Weiss for what French media later called Le Dunk de la Mort, the dunk of death, Kevin Garnett and the rest of Team USA thought somebody had finally claimed the prize. And the intensity didn't stop during games. Practices were just as ruthless. Jason Kidd ran brutal full-court one-on-one drills where players had to battle the entire length of the floor, and Kilogram admitted things got so competitive between him and Sharif Abdurrahim that they nearly came to blows. But even those moments couldn't compare to the opening ceremony. That was when Garnett truly understood what wearing USA across his chest meant. Surrounded by athletes from every nation on Earth, walking into a stadium packed with tens of thousands of people, the Olympics suddenly became bigger than basketball, bigger than the NBA, and bigger than individual stardom itself.
You're talking that shit. Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi,
and,
oi.
the nigga Torpedo. It was a kid they called the Torpedo because he had like a 17-foot. Him and Michael Phelps was talking. Yeah, we're going to smash all tomorrow, mate. Mate, we're going to eat your fucking lunch tomorrow, mate. Michael Phelps like, fuck y'all, we America, USA. We was like what? Yo, it was like almost World War.
Backstage before the opening ceremony at the 2000 Summer Olympics, the atmosphere felt less like diplomacy and more like controlled chaos. Athletes from every country were packed together waiting to walk into the stadium.